the Fender Custom Shop Finish Breakdown. This is going to be a guide to help you decide how you want your guitar to look, new or beat to hell. Stay tuned. A lot of choices within the Fender Custom Shop, and we're here to help make it a little bit simpler for you. If you might, do you like a guitar pristine and perfect?
Yes.
Do you like a guitar beat to living smack?
Yes.
I like them all. You like it somewhere in the middle?
Yes.
I mean, so let's just start at the beginning, and because it's confusing. And like, this is the best way. We're gonna go right into it. We're not gonna waste too much time. So thanks for joining us. Here we go. NOS.
NOS guitars.
New old stock. This is a guitar that it's meant to be, let's say you built a 1956 Stratocaster, it's meant to be right out of the factory into your hands, from the showroom to the guitar shop to your hands. That's the idea of that.
It is new.
It's got nitrocellulose lacquer on it. Beautiful, pristine. It's usually a thin coat when we spec it through Casino Guitars or anything, because we're obnoxious that way. We thin everything because we like thin. But that's as clean as it gets.
Yes.
Now, there's not much else to say about that, right?
It's new.
I mean, it's new.
There's no scratches. There's no nothing.
Now, these next three is where it gets kind of confusing. This is where everybody gets kind of lost. Time Capsule is next. Now, what is Time Capsule? That's like, pretend the same guitar was just built, but it's in 1954, whatever, 64. It's been sitting in the closet now, which is confusing, for like the next 60 or 70 years.
Or a time capsule.
Yeah, a time capsule.
Buried in a wall.
Yes.
Or something. I don't know.
So usually with time capsule finish, unless otherwise spec, you're getting a flash coat lacquer.
Yep.
Which is a thinner compound and is going to start the aging process sooner. I like time capsule. Yeah. I think it's really cool. It looks just like a NOS though.
It does.
NOS, isn't that a word for something?
NOS.
And that's is that when you have like in your car to go faster?
Yeah. You don't have that in the Tesla. You just hit the button. Fast and Furious.
Now you have like
Tesla edition.
fake engine noise.
That would be really funny. I guess there's no way to shoot.
Teslas do have ASS now. Assisted something supervised summon, and it's called ASS because he has a weird sense of humor. So you can have it pull up to you in wherever you want. So you just have the card. It's crazy. It's weird. The future. Anyway, Time Capsule is really cool. It's different. It's not as popular a finish because most people don't know about it. It's a little bit zany, and also with the flash coat, there's a little chance that it's going to be a little bit duller of a finish.
Yeah.
Because they don't buff it out in the same way they do the other finishes, so it sort of ages differently, and it's got a little bit of a realistic sheen.
It's almost that like sunken in feel like you see on older guitars, which I think is really cool.
It looks very realistic.
I think so, yeah.
It's probably the most like a 1964 time capsule on a 64.
Yeah.
Okay, now we enter into the ones that confuse people a lot. Closet Classic and Deluxe Closet Classic. So what's your base? You want to hit Closet Classic for a minute, or you want me to?
Closet Classic, it is what it says. It's like your grandpa bought this guitar in 1956 or whenever, and put it in his closet, and we played it every now and again. It was taken really good care of. It was barely played. It's one of those things where you see it on like Marketplace or Reverb all the time. Barely played, never left my home, smokeless studio. It's that guitar.
It always smells like smoke.
So the slightest bit of dulling, like on the hardware. Maybe the slightest bit of checking.
Just slight there.
I'm talking like
slight.
Barely.
Hardware looks really good. NOS
no
almost.
Yeah, exactly. So
you're back into the NOS, sort of the nitrocellulose lacquer, not the flash coat here with Closet Classic, unless otherwise spec'd.
Yes.
Now you jump into Deluxe Closet Classic, which is one of our favorite finishes.
It has become. It's funny.
Which is cool. It's sort of been a style curve towards that. It wasn't before.
And I always tell guys, Deluxe Closet Classic, it's like that Closet Classic, but on this one, your grandpa took that guitar out every Saturday night and Sunday afternoon and played it, but then meticulously wiped it down and put it back.
So there is, there's definitely going to be the start of checking.
I mean, yes.
Yes, and there's going to be, the hardware's going to have, is no rust, but it's just like it's got a little bit of.
Dulled out a little bit.
Yeah.
Like just a little bit.
Kind of like us after like living and playing Broadway for years in Nashville. And
sad.
God bless you, Chandler, out there in Nashville.
Just grinding it out.
Grinding it out there, the old Alan Jackson.
We're with you, buddy.
He was 6'4" tall. I didn't even know that. He was so big. I saw a pair of his jeans. Jesus. No, Deluxe Closet Classic is a great way if you're sort of nervous about a Relic and you want to sort of like just, you don't want Relic, but you don't want it to be brand new either.
Just want to dip your toe.
Yes.
It's almost like the NOS with all of the shiny, you know what I mean? Like
Here's the best part of this
Broken
before we get too far into this, because we're past the halfway mark now. You can sort of like mix and match some of this along the way
Sure you
too.
can.
Like if you want a neck to be beat to living hell and your body to be like closet classic, you can do it. It's cool. That's the part of this custom shop that most people aren't aware of.
I probably do, I won't say more, but a ton, and we haven't gotten there yet, of Journeyman bodies and Relic necks.
Well, let's get into Journeyman right now. That's the first level of Relic.
Yes.
So Journeyman Relic's your lightest Relic, and that what he just said is so common with us too, because people want that the finish pulled off. We'll get into that later, but Journeyman Relic it's going to have either checking, or dings, or both.
Right.
But it's going to be a guitar that's been played.
But it's not a ton of dings, right? And we're not talking like exposed wood.
No,
we're just talking literally like a little ding.
I was just thinking about Paul Rubens when you said that. Sorry.
I really like the Journeymans as well. And for a while, I did not, because you still, for the most part on the Journeyman, you've got the finish on the back of the neck.
Well, didn't we just get that Journeyman in that's like, was a paint over too?
Yes.
Which was beautiful.
Yes.
It was red, I remember, because I got to play it, and it was gorgeous. And like there's a 3-tone sunburst underneath the Journeyman,
right.
so you don't see any of it.
But it's awesome.
I can see a little bit of like the primer in one spot and a little bit of the black of the burst.
But
cool.
In 10 years. Yes.
If you play, but if you live it like a time capsule and wipe it all the time, you gotta play it.
Or just wipe it really hard all the time.
I do that sometimes. I'll wipe them. I'll just do this with the neck. I know, no jokes needed. I do that, and my wife thinks I'm funny. But no, Journeyman Relic it's a really cool. That's the one. Like, if you want it to be beat up a little bit, that's the one to get into.
Yeah.
And now, if you are a little bit more bold, you get a Relic. That's where you're going to have some good sort of shoulder wear up here, like on the back of the butt there.
Almost like just the burn, though. Just the edge where you start to see that raw wood.
Yep, you might see some raw wood. You'll definitely see like some primer or raw wood, or if there's an undercoat, you're going to see that color there.
Way more checking.
Sometimes it's a little, and that just depends how the finish goes too. But there's going to be more dings. You're going to see some belt rash. You're going to see some serious dings around like the jack maybe, and you can request certain things you like and don't like too.
If you got a maple board, you start to really see some good where the played.
The fret ghosting, as they call it.
I love that. I love where it's dirty around the frets. That like kind of black line of smut.
I do too. But don't try to take it off, because you probably can eventually. I've seen people do horrible things like heat guns and sanding and stuff. So I didn't want to just finish it. Oh Lord, still breaks my heart about that PRS by our friend Jack. That was one on the back. But Heavy Relic. This is also one of the more popular ones.
Yes.
This is when you want a Relic, Heavy Relic is probably the #1 choice. You're gonna have wood exposed. You're gonna have finish pulled off, and you're gonna see the other colors underneath it. The neck, Heavy Relic, is the most important part.
I mean, they feel awesome. This is when you're getting into the guitar in theory was on tour, being sweated on with beer on it and smoked on.
And it lived a good 3 weeks with that E9 bolt.
Right.
That's what I like to think of.
All it would take.
Or 30 years with Joe Perry.
Or 30 years with Joe Perry.
I think the Heavy Relic is a very popular one. It's a great Relic. In the neck, like you said, you would spec your Journeymans with that type of Heavy Relic neck.
That's right. Heavy Relic or Relic. Either one, just to get some of that finish pulled off.
And you can also do a Heavy Relic body with a Relic neck, but also have the nitro all the way on the neck, so you don't have to have it pulled. Because some people, like Larry, just always want the lacquer on it.
I've even done where guys don't want the front of the neck that beat up.
Right.
Like they only want the Relic or Heavy Relic on the back.
It plays faster. And they're also treating it with another compound too. It's not just raw wood. It's been treated. It's been pulled, and then it gets treated later. So it's a safe combination. You're good there.
Yeah, I mean, I've literally had mine out and where they're just covered in mists from playing outdoors and nastiness and sweat all over. And I did the beginning. I worried man, is this gonna move? But nope.
No. Now we get into sort of the I'm going to combine these two into one, like the super Heavy Relic and the ultra Relic. It sort of lives in the place like, whoa, this is a beat to hell guitar. Beat, not quite Rory Gallagher level.
Get there with the
ultra. But you're close. You can do it.
Get there.
I've been able to somehow slide a Heavy Relic in that had 0 finish left on it. And we spec'd a 3-tone sunburst, Heavy Relic, but I said I want 0 of the sunburst on there, so I want to spray paint it 3-tone, then pull it all off. Mark has that guitar down in Florida right now. I remember his name.
Oh yeah,
Mark's awesome.
That's right.
He's the best. Well, of course I remember Mark's name. Which one's? I miss that guy.
Mark's like, what?
Which Mark are you talking about? But no, he's one of the, there's a lot of Marks, but yeah, you know what you're talking about, Mark. But no, it's I remember that guitar. It was so much fun to do. It was like it came and looked like Bonnie Raitt's guitar kind of. But this is when like, you know, the fretboard's destroyed a lot, like as far as the maple one. The back of it's dirty. You can have the nicotine sort of look to it too, where it's just been a smoky bar for 30 years.
They do sort of get progressively dirtier looking, which is a good thing as well.
And it's like that sort of almost lives in like the WTF happened relic, which is right there, and that's like what we just talked about Mark's guitar.
What are you gonna do?
Wrecked and destroyed. I think that's kind of it.
That's it.
We kind of nailed it. That's the sort of relic world. So again, NOS, Time Capsule, Closet Classic, Deluxe Closet Classic, Journeyman Relic, Relic, Heavy Relic, and then we have the Super Heavy Relic or the Ultra Relic. I sort of put those in the same world. Yeah. And Ultra Relic's theoretically only available in Master Build
in theory.
But there's ways to kind of work things around.
We have our ways.
You can also, it's a lot.
Hope Ed's not watching.
But they change sometimes.
It's like, are they tricking me?
No, it's not tricking. It's just massaging. No, but there's so much fun to have within this thing, and you can mix and match it all. And I hope that helps. It's confusing, but that's a pretty good summary.
It is.
In about 11 and a half minutes.
Let us know if you got questions. Hit a call the shop, email us.
Click like, subscribe.
Hit the bell.
And peace be with you.
Goodbye.
All and everyone.